Hello students, it is our first lecture on the topology. Here we start from our first chapter, that is our topological spaces. For this we need to recall some basic concepts of the metric spaces. First we take a definition of the metric space. Let X be a non-empty set and D is a real valued function which is a distance function from X cross X to set of the real numbers that satisfies the following properties. First one is distance between X and Y is non-negative for all X, Y belongs to X. And second property is distance between X and Y is equal to 0 if and only if X is equal to Y. And in the third property, it is a symmetric property, distance between X and Y is equal to distance between Y and X. And fourth property is a triangle inequality. Here we take 3 points X, Y, Z. So it is less than equal to distance between X and Y plus distance between Y and Z. Now if any function D satisfy these four properties on any set X, then D is a metric on X and XD, this pair is called a metric space. Where X is a set and D is a metric defined on this set X which satisfy these four properties. Now further we discuss some examples on the metric spaces. First example, we have discrete metric space on set X where X is a set and D is a metric on X and the distance is given by between 2 points is 0 if X is equal to Y, and if the points are distinct it is 1. So this distance function satisfy the four properties of the metric. So we say that it is a discrete metric space. Now second is a usual metric space on the set of real numbers. So here distance between the two real numbers is given by mod X minus Y. So it also satisfies these four properties. So it is called usual metric space. And third one is a Euclidean metric space on R2. Here X is a X1, X2 and Y is a Y1, Y2. And distance between these 2 points are given by root of X1 minus Y1 square plus X2 minus Y2 square. So it also satisfies the four properties of the metric. So it is called the Euclidean metric space. So there are other metric spaces also that we will discuss it later. Next we have a definition of the neighborhood in a metric space. In a metric space XD, a set V that is a subset of X is a neighborhood of a point X if there exists an open ball with center at X and radius R, in which we take all those points of X whose distance with X is strictly less than R, then this open ball is fully contained in V. Then V is a neighborhood of a point X. So graphically we mean if we take any set X and take arbitrary point of X, call it small x, take open ball with center at X and radius R, call it SRX, that is fully contained in one subset of X, call it V, then V is a neighborhood of this point X. So next we have an open set. A subset A of a metric space is open in X if every point of A has a neighborhood that is fully contained in A. So graphically we can say that if X is a set and A is a subset of X, then take any arbitrary point of X in A, then draw open ball with center at X and radius R, then this open ball is fully contained in A and it is true for all the points of X, then A is an open set in X. Next we have an interior point. A point X is called the interior point of a set A if SRX means center at X and radius R, open ball, is contained in A. So in other words we can define an open set in the terms of interior. So we can write A set is open if all the points are the interior point of that set are the interior points. Further, we have an exterior point. A point X is called an exterior point of A if there exists an open set U such that X belongs to U, that is fully contained in A complement. In place of open ball, we can write open set also, because open balls are the open sets. So we can write any U set in place of ball here. Thus we can say that if X is a set here and A is a subset of X, then it will be the A complement. If we take any arbitrary element from X and take open set which is containing X element, and this open set is fully containing A complement, then this X is a exterior point of set A. Next we have a boundary point. A point X is called the boundary point of a set A if we take any open ball with center X and radius R, then its intersection with A and A complement is non-empty. So if we take X is a set here and A is a subset of X, take any point on its boundary, take an open ball with center X and radius R, then its intersection with A is non-empty and its intersection with A complement is also non-empty. Then this X is a boundary point of A. Next we have a limit point. A point X is a limit point of a set A if for any open ball with center at X and radius R, its intersection with A is non-empty even if we exclude X from it. So for example, if we write X here and A is a subset of X, take any point X in A, then draw open ball with center X and radius R. Now its intersection with A is non-empty even if we exclude X from it. Now if we take any X here, draw open ball here, then its intersection with A is also non-empty even if we exclude X from it. Now if we take X here and draw an open ball here, then its intersection with A is non-empty even if we exclude X from it. But here we can take this open ball also. We can take radius as small as possible, but its intersection with A is empty. So we cannot say that this X is a limit point of A, but these are the limit points of A. For example, if we take an open interval 1, 2, then all the points between 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 are also the limit points of this set A, because if we take an open ball with center at 1 and radius delta, then it will be 1 minus delta, 1 plus delta. Then its intersection with 1, 2 is non-empty. So 1 is also a limit point of A, and similarly all the points between 1 and 2 and including 1 and 2 are the limit points of this set A. So next we have a derived set. The collections of all the limit points of a set A is a derived set of A, and it is denoted by A dash. Then next we have a closure. Closure of a set is denoted by A bar, and it is a union of A and the limit points of A. So it is a collections of the points of A and the limit points of A, then it will become the closure of A. And the closed set, a set which contains all the limit points is called a closed set, and we can say that A closure is equal to A, because if we take any set which is containing its limit point, then A dash will contain in A, then in that case closure will coincide with A. If A is closed, then A complement will be open. Now we discuss topological spaces. Let X is a set here and tau is a collection of some subsets of X. This collection tau forms a topology on X when it satisfies these three properties. So first property is phi and X should be in tau, and second property is the union of elements of any subcollection of tau is in tau. It means if we take any arbitrary collection belongs to tau, where lambda belongs to some indexing set, which implies that union, which is the arbitrary union of A lambdas, this also belongs to tau. So in third property, intersection of the elements of any finite subcollection of tau is in tau. So if we take finite subcollection and these are in tau, which implies that its intersection, the finite intersection of all AIs, this also should belong to tau. Now tau satisfies these three conditions, so we can say that this collection tau forms a topology on X, and set is X and tau is a topology, then this pair X tau is a topological space. Now we discuss some examples on the topological spaces. First we discuss trivial topologies. Let X be a non-empty set, then first is an indiscrete topology defined on this set X, which is denoted by tau I, and in which we take phi and X only, and this tau I satisfy these three conditions because first property is phi and X should be in tau I, so it is true, and if we take union of these two members then it is X only, so belongs to tau I, and third one is if we take intersection of these two then it is phi, so belongs to tau I. So it forms a topology on the set X, and it is called indiscrete topology, and this space X tau I is a topological space which is an indiscrete topological space. Next one is a discrete topology in which we take all the subsets of X as a member of the topology, and it is denoted by tau D, and it is also called power set of X. So this is also a topology on X, as it also satisfies that three conditions of the topology. So it is called discrete topology, and this space is called discrete topological space. Further we have non-trivial topologies also. We take one example of it. Let X is a set here which is containing A, B and C elements. Here tau 1, tau 2, tau 3 and tau 4 are collections of some subsets of X, where tau 1 and tau 2 are topologies on X, but tau 3 and tau 4 are not the topologies on X, because if we take tau 1 then phi and X belongs to tau, so it's satisfy the first property, and now if we take arbitrary union of any member of the tau 1 then also belongs to tau 1, so it satisfies the second property. And now if we take finite intersections of these members of the tau 1, actually our set is finite, so if we take any intersection in it, then that will automatically finite intersection, so it belongs to tau 1, and same with tau 2 also. So tau 1 and tau 2, these are the topologies on X, but tau 3, here we can see phi and X belongs to tau 3, so which satisfy the first property. Now if we take two members of these, singleton A and singleton B, and we take union of these two, it is AB, but it does not belongs to tau 3. So tau 3 is not a topology on X. And in tau 4, first property is phi belongs to tau 4, but there is no X. So X does not belongs to tau 4. So it is also not a topology on set X. So further we discuss another example on the topology, that is cofinite topology, in which we take X is an infinite set and tau is a collection of those subsets of X whose complement is finite, and we take phi also in this collection, then this tau is a topology on X. So we will show that this tau, this collection satisfy the three conditions of the topology. So first condition is phi belongs to tau, so from the definition of tau, and x belongs to tau also, because if we take complement of x, it is phi, so it is a finite. So from the definition of tau, x belongs to tau. Now in second condition, if we take arbitrary collection belongs to tau, which implies that a lambda complement are finite, and it is true for each lambda. Now in the second property, we have to show that its arbitrary union belongs to tau. So for this, we have to take its complement, which is equal. Now the complement of this union can be written as intersection, which is a arbitrary intersection of a lambda complement. So we have used De Morgan's law in set theory. Now it is a arbitrary intersection of finite sets, and we know that it is finite. Now we have complement of union of a lambdas is finite, which implies that this arbitrary union of a lambda belongs to tau. Now for the third condition, if we take finite collection belongs to tau for I 1 to n, which implies that ai complement are finite because of the definition of the tau, and it is also true for each I 1 to n. Now we will prove that its intersection, that is a finite intersection of all ai's, also belongs to tau. For this we take complement of it, and it will become finite union of ai complement, and these are the finite union of finite set, which is also finite. This implies that finite intersection of finite collections of the sets belongs to tau. So now this tau, which is a collections of some subsets of x, satisfy three conditions of the topology. So it forms a topology on this set x, and if this set is x is finite, then tau will contain all the subsets of x, because in that case, if x is itself finite, then its subset and their complement will always finite. So in that case, cofinite topology will reduces to the discrete topology. Now we discuss another example of the topology, that is co-countable topology, in which we take x is an infinite set and tau is a collections of those subsets of x whose complement is countable, and we take phi also in this collection. Then this collection tau forms a topology on x, and it is called co-countable topology. So for this we need to prove that tau also satisfy three conditions of the topology. So first property is phi belongs to tau. So from the definition of tau, and x also belongs to tau, because if we take x complement, it is phi and it is countable. Now to prove the second condition, take arbitrary collection belongs to tau, which implies that a lambda complements are open for each lambda. Now we take union of these a lambdas, so it is an arbitrary union. To prove that this union also belongs to tau, then we need to find that its complement is countable. Now union will become intersection because of the De Morgan's law in set theory. So it will become a lambda complement, and a lambdas belongs to tau, so each a lambda complement are countable, and it is an arbitrary intersection of countable sets, and we know that it is a countable, which implies that arbitrary union of a lambdas also belongs to 2. Now similarly in third property we take finite collection which belongs to 2, which implies that AI complement is countable. So for this we take finite intersection and we need to prove that its complement is countable. So this intersection will become union. It is a finite union of AI's complement. AI's complement are countable, so its finite union is also countable, which implies that its finite intersection of all AI's belongs to 2. So this collection satisfies these 3 conditions of the topology. So we can say that this collection forms a topology on X and it is a co-countable topology. Now if X is a countable set, then co-countable topology on X coincides with the discrete topology, because in that set every subset of set X will be countable and its complement will be countable. So all the subsets of X will be the member of the 2. So in that case that reduces to the discrete topology on X. Now we discuss some examples of the other topologies also, and these topologies are defined on the set of real numbers. First one is a usual topology, and it is a very important topology in the topological spaces. A set X is a set of real numbers and tau u is a collection in which we take all those subsets of real numbers which are containing all the open intervals AB and union with phi. Then tau u forms a topology on R. It means this collection satisfies that 3 conditions of the topology and it is called usual topology. And next is a lower limit topology, and X is a set of real number and it is denoted by tau LL, in which we take all those subsets of real numbers which are containing all semi-closed interval, and it is closed with A and open with B, and we take phi also in this collection. Then this tau LL forms a topology on set of real numbers and it is called lower limit topology. And next one is a upper limit topology and it is denoted by tau UL, in which we take all those subsets of real numbers which are containing all semi-open intervals and union with phi. Then this tau UL collection forms a topology on the set of real numbers and it is called upper limit topology. And there are some other topologies also we can define on the set of real numbers, that we will discuss it later. Now in this lecture we have defined the topological spaces, definition of the topology and some examples of it. Hope you understand these examples and you will able to find some other topologies also. And in the next lecture we will discuss about some basic definitions in topological spaces. Thank you.